Welcome back to the 100th Monkey with Tom and Ramon and our special guest, Renato Longato. Before we bring him back in, I just wanted to mention that it's highly appreciated to all those who subscribe already and all those who have supported us from the beginning. And I forgot to mention, Renato was our 7th guest that we had, and now he is the 45th episode. So it's I find that quite amazing, right, Renato?
Wow. No, I mean, I really appreciate the work you both are doing. I know, Ramon, you're in Japan, in Tokyo, and then, Tom, you're here in the Northwest, and really it takes, coordination, it takes a bunch of work, it takes inspiration, but there you go. You're having more people, you're having more guests, and you have a bigger audience, perhaps you never expected to have this kind of success, but hey, it's working, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was actually surprised when we hit like 83 countries, and even some of the countries that we have listeners in, I was really shocked. It was more shocking to me than it was to Tom.
That's good. It's a good shocking.
Yeah. So, let's talk a little bit about the event that you said you have more information about. This event
yes, it's going to be on the 11th of November this year. It's about 11/11, and it's organized by the DreamShield.org. DreamShield.org. It's going to be in Rancho de las Palmas, Moore Park, California. And there's going to be a bunch of guest speakers, and one of them is going to be Aros Christos, which is a singer, New Age singer. Going to be Laura de Leon, also a lady who is very spiritual, and she's going to guide the meditations. Ken Sheets, a good friend of mine, he's one of the organizers as well with Laura, and there are other guest speakers. There's going to be booth. There's going to be music, and there's going to be workshops, and there's going to be lectures. So it's going to start from 10:30 a.m. till 11:30 p.m. And it's going to be live streamed to different countries around the world, also here nationwide. So it's going to be a big event on the 11/11. Go to DreamShield.org for more information.
So this is right in the LA area, right?
Yes, in LA area, exactly.
Cool.
I always find it amazing how, in especially California, there's always something going on. Some kind of like conference or something. It seems like every weekend.
California is the place, I think, because I have heard this. I don't know for sure, because they say the ley lines that intersect in California, the telluric and magnetic faults that are here in the West Coast, helps to create all this environment. When the ley lines are at its minimum, you have more invention, you have creativity of all kinds. Everything is here. Hollywood's here. All kind of movies are here. At the same time, you have the Silicon Valley. You have, this is the state where the UFO movement started around the world, really. And this is, when you have the latest innovations in super technology here. You have one of the best universities in California, and all the northern coast, really. It's in this area. So let me tell you, there's more activity in California than many other parts in the world. It's always something, but related to different disciplines: yoga, Qigong, Tai Chi, Buddhism, gurus, ashrams, you name it, raw food, you name it. Everything is in California. Really, it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, I just find that amazing. So. Some of the stuff we got into the first time we interviewed you was some of your experience that you had. Since then, have you had any other experiences?
Not exactly. What I have or what I sense is during meditations, or when I was in Mexico a few days ago, a week ago, really. We have a UFO Skywatch. nearby Teotihuacan in a town called San Sebastian Jololpan. And in the hotel, it's a country hotel there, and we have a UFO sky watch. And I was, after the meditation, was guiding the meditation, relaxation, to be in harmony, to have the mindset all together, to do our sky watch. And I have this sense that there was an unknown presence, positive unknown presence in the area. But I was not the only one. The curious thing is, was not the only one. So since you have this kind of experience, somehow, some way, when you're approached by these entities, flesh and bone entities, the ETs are, within all these years, it doesn't happen to be every month, it doesn't have to be on a weekly basis. It happens now and then because they are the ones who control the contact. I do not control the contact. And there is a high, we are exposed, let me tell you somehow, trying to explain with words. You are exposed to a higher energy. Somehow, your aura is touched by this energy. And then you recognize, you sense when this energy is around you, when this energy is close to you. And it's like a radar. You can pick up if a UFO sighting is going to happen or not. That would happen to me, Ramon, you've been there, when I was in 2009, 2010 at ECETI Ranch. I mean, the 2 years I've been invited to give lectures there, I have these UFO sightings, and I recorded exactly in the moment these UFO sightings. The first one in 2009 was 8 minutes with more than 30 plus witnesses. And we have 8
I was
minutes.
standing next to you.
Exactly, you were there. And then on the 4th of July on 2010, because in 2009 was 6th of July, then the 4th of July 2010, we were leaving the meditation. We were leaving a meditation. There was more than 100 people. We're leaving in the auditorium, and I was close to Shelley Schmidt, our friend Shelley Schmidt, and she was there. We were taking a picture. Then we both turned, and we saw the UFO coming. Right there in that moment, if she would have not asked for a picture in that moment, I would have not stopped. I would not have my camera in the hand. Would not able to record the UFO. So that kind of synchronicities happen, and it doesn't happen the way we think, because they don't think with our logical way of thinking. Let's say that. Let's be redundant. So when these things happen, you have these synchronicities going on. Let me tell you a little bit example also what happened just recently in Mexico. I went to Mexico, and I have friends there. Of course, I know UFO researchers there, but I didn't tell anybody I was going there. The only one who knew was Edward Mueller, and he works for Jaime Maussan, the famous journalist, researcher, UFO researcher in Latin America, I would say. Jaime Maussan is well known in these circles. And the manager of the hotel have a good friend. In other words, a compadre. It's a spiritual friend of the family, Pascual Lopestri, which is well known in the UFO circles also in Mexico. I didn't have the honor to meet him, but he was a good friend. He invited him to my lecture. Then he knew Jaime Maussan, which I also know Jaime Maussan. Contact Jaime Maussan. We went the next day to his restaurant on Sunday. Then on Monday we went to Jaime Maussan Productions, and we have an interview there. Everything works perfectly well. I was with a friend of mine, Mila Marin. She's from Argentina, lives in LA, and exactly she's been there so many times in Mexico City that we needed, to get back to meet with all the group of the tour that they were on the Basilica of Guadalupe, the Virgin of Guadalupe. I don't know how to rent myself on the subway in Mexico City. It's a huge city, but she was there, and we get there exactly when the group was leaving the Basilica, the big temple. And it would have not happened through this synchronicity. It's how one person knows another, and another, and another, and everything starts to work. Of course, all related to the ET phenomena, And this is sometimes it's funny the way they things, and you just have to go with the flow. When you accept that reality in your life, as well as other realities, is not the only one, of course. Things start to move because it creates an energy. And when you start to move, and you have to contact, you have to do trips, you do your radio interviews, everything starts to roll on place, and you follow that, and then it leads you to different places, to know different people, to have different experience. That's what is happening with me. At the same time, I was not at the same time, excuse me, I was in Newport at the end of July. Once a year, we have a private meeting in Newport, Rhode Island, and the host is a good friend of mine. Is a lady named Anne Rensee Cuvelier, and she used to host, as I said at the beginning of this interview, the late Harvard professor, Pulitzer Prize winner, John E. Mack, and the New York Times bestseller abductions author, Bud Hopkins there, among many other people. And this year was one of the guests was astronomer Jose Luis Galache from Spain, and he was very interested in all this information as well, But he is a serious astronomer. At the same time, I met this lady. She is a person who works has her private business. But then she turned to me out of the blue and said, "You have to continue doing your research because the research you're doing is very important." And I said, "What research?" "You're writing something. You're working on something right now." And there was no way she could have known about this, because she was the first time she was in this kind of private meetings, which is by invitation only. And she sat down close to me only 15 minutes after she arrived. She didn't know anything about me. Anything. So these are the things, how it works. These are the things how things start to unfold. And sometimes it surprised me, in a positive way. But it helped me to understand and be humble how things are and how you have to accept it, at the same time, Ramon.
Yeah.
That's the fundamental mechanics of our universe. Once you start becoming aware that if you just get out of the way and let things happen, the magic starts. Just amazing things start happening. I mean, I have synchronicity in my life all the time. Ever since I've started, first of all, I had to acknowledge that, yes, something else is going on here than what I see and sense in the third dimension. And as soon as I was able to start getting out of the way, synchronicities happen. Things just fall in my path, just like the way this show started for Ramon and I. I mean, everything just fell together. And that was just, I think synchronicity is a prime example of how the universe works in that way.
Well, you said better than me, Tom. Really, you put the words more in the right way, better than me. And that's, when you just let it go and let it go with the flow, and, the magic start to work. But it seems that magic is a reality in other realities, in other dimensions, and it's incorporated merging into our reality now. And I think the key is to be aware. The key word is awareness, as you just said, Tom.
Right.
Yeah, I remember hearing from this Japanese guy that he's able to see auras, and he always says that when you're able to look at someone's aura, if they've had any kind of contact, whether it's extraterrestrial or extra dimensional, that somewhat your aura is like marked. So these other beings and these other extraterrestrials can see like, oh, he's had contact, so he won't be as shocked. So that's why sometimes you hear someone who's had contact with one species, all of a sudden all these other species start coming along.
Probably so, because they have a way to find out a person who is predisposed to these contacts. I mean, of course, they don't want to hurt anybody. They don't want to affect anybody, even though it can be a little bit shocking. All the realities can be shocking. But as I said at the beginning, somehow to explain with words is different, but you become impregnated with this other energy. Your aura is touched and somehow there is emerging of a different higher energy with yours, and that is what they can track you wherever you are in the world, whenever you are in the world, because we have also, I forgot to mention, another UFO Skywatch in Germany, nearby Leipzig, and that night we didn't see anything for some reason. I felt their presence, but the very next day, in this community that I was invited as a guest, they start to take pictures and the UFO appears on the digital camera. So coincidence? Can you put that into an statistics and said how much you can tell is going to be a UFO sighting? You know, one is like a win in the lotto. 1 in 5,000, 1 in 10,000, 1 in 100,000, 1 in a million, and then it happened. It happens because there is a synchronicity, as Tom said. It happens because the magic starts to work. It happens because your awareness is the key to enter this other reality, and you accept that. It happens because the environment change, the mindset change around you, and you can also go with people who have this similar wavelength, and they can contact not only extraterrestrials. You know, you can contact, you know, have a contact with your higher self, which is also wonderful. And that's one of the things that start to happen, and it's happening more lately. And that's, I think, is part of our new reality that is merging with ours right now.
Did you ever have a situation where you were supposed to do something, but you had a very strong feeling not to do it, and then later you find out that it was a good thing you didn't go to this place or did what you were going to do because something bad would have happened?
Well, in a different way, let me tell you something. 3 months before, we find out that Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver, the former governor of California, Maria Shriver, were splitting, you know, because some, you know, the love child from Schwarzenegger, you know, was
love child.
On the news. Yeah, exactly. You know,
Never meant to be.
I was watching a video or something with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I have a very, very awful feeling on my chest for a moment, a twisted, awful feeling. I said, why am I feeling when I see, you know, Arnold? I don't know. I don't understand. I didn't get it, you know. And then, 3 months later, came this odd news, you know, and that's not part of my, of course, the interview or the subject of this interview, but that thing happens sometimes. Or when I have to go there, you know, things start to happen. Like my car doesn't start, or I'm trying to make a phone call saying, you know, I'm going to be late, and it had interference. So you pick up, you know, something is going on, and you realize that these, quote, obstacles are telling you not to go. Or you have this feeling in the solar plexus, right, to be more straightforward. In the solar plexus, you have these feelings, this hunch is telling you to stay there, or not to proceed, or not to continue. And then when its release is gone, you know, could be a couple of days, everything goes back to normal. Or you have to face something which is, you have to deal with, something unexpected, you know, a opposition or something completely odd or out of the blue that you have to deal with. But you have to this feeling before, and that's something that sometimes happens, you know, even in dreams. You understand that, you know, it's telling you something, and then a couple of days later, you know, it get a confirmation.
That's definitely happened to me. How about you, Tom?
Oh yeah, I get those same kind of feelings. I get it more I feel the warning in my head. You know, that instead of having the gut feeling that something's wrong, I feel it in my head. It's almost like a pressure. But it's definitely something that I've noticed.
Yeah, I get stomach pains. and then as soon as I change my mind, the stomach pains is gone. You know, because like I'll go to do what I want to do, and it would just get stronger and stronger, and then I'll stop and question: is that real stomach pains, or is that I shouldn't, go somewhere? And then as soon as I changed my mind, it's gone, and I was like, oh, I guess I shouldn't go where I was gonna go. But I mean, if people just take a minute to really take a look at their lives and see that it's actually quite the experience and quite amazing. With everybody's had some weird experience, and most of us just do the great thing of just, tossing it to the side and say, oh, that's just coincidence.
Yeah, coincidence.
Yeah. Or something another.
Well, coincidence, the more these things happen, and coincidence is reduced to the minimum, and then you think there's cause and effect in different levels, coincidence, perhaps minor things, well, could be a coincidence, but when these things happen in, events in your life, that is no coincidence. There is something that needed to happen, and the people you encounter, I remember when years ago, I was in San Francisco. I was looking for a book, and the book of Urantia, this famous group that supposedly have these writings.
The blue book.
The blue book, exactly. Big thick book, look like a phone guy. And I was looking at this book. It was big, thick book, and then it just dropped from my hands, falling to the ground. And then when I grab it and turn it, it was exactly on the chapter I was looking for information. So it saved my time completely. Because I have more than 1,000 pages. So I went straight to the chapter, straight to the sentence that I was looking for information. So I was amazed. And it happened in the middle of a library, in San Francisco. I said, wow, how things work. Well, things work like that. It's amazing.
I think we have the ability to help direct these things too. I know we have this ability. It's kind of, well, at least my experience has been, it's trial and error as far as trying to direct different aspects of things I'd like to have come into my life. This is the whole secret manifestation type stuff that I'm talking about now. But when it's really hard to explain getting that exact feeling when you're wanting something, having that intention added with the emotion of how you feel when you're going to get it, and then being able to let go of it and not worry about it afterwards. I think that's been the biggest key from what I've seen, is being able to let go of it after I put the intention out there, being able to let go and leave it alone and just be in the accepting mode, the receiving mode, and not go, work it out in my mind. Oh, I wonder if that's going to happen. I wonder if, this widget's going to come across my path, so.
Yeah. Oh, what I find, there's this, I guess this is what everybody calls the 0 point feel, but I'm going to try to explain what it feels like the best that I can. It's like when you're in between that awake and asleep, but it's almost like reality is liquidy at the same time. Mm-hmm. Has anybody else had that feeling? And in that state, that's where just things, like for me, like magic just really, really happens.
Perhaps we are in alpha level,
Yeah.
Between, 6 and 9 cycles, in that level that, remote viewing, extrasensual perception, hunch, intuitions, synchronicity happens,
Right. Well, I do, when I work some form of intention for myself, it's always in meditation. So, and I get fairly deep in my meditations. I've been able to out of body occasionally, so I know I definitely can get deep, and I definitely have noticed that the intentions that I put out there that are done in a deeper form of meditation have more power, I guess would be the right word. So.
Yeah. Do you astral project much, Renato?
Well, I'm aware when I have vivid and lucid dreams. That is so real that when I wake up, it takes me like 30 minutes just to move one muscle. My fingers are so relaxed, and when I have these vivid dreams, or I would say astral projections, I pay attention to them. Sometimes I grab a piece of pen and paper and I write them down, information what I have seen, so I keep it for my records, just to see how accurate these things are that I receive through dreams. And most of the time they are accurate. But I have already identified that feeling, that air, around you, that kind of breeze that it, wrap around you and that takes you somewhere else. And when you come back, you have this little, like a, I don't know, landing that could be soft, that could be a little bit, shaky, and then you open your eyes. But, you have these images. I have these images in front of my eyes as a clear, as high definition video. So I pay attention to that because the colors, the people, the expression, and they are in my mind, and that they're not easily to go away. I can remember dreams from years ago as it was yesterday. Perhaps, time and space collapse, and it's a present continuum reality. It's always remained there, in our memories.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me, sometimes I forget to write things down, and I had an out-of-body experience the other day, and something was said to me, and I was like, oh, that's important. Now I can't remember it.
Huh.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. It's just a matter of practice, man.
Yeah. No, it was weird because whenever I have out-of-body experience, unlike Tom is able to consciously come out, where I kind of fall asleep and then wake up in the situation. And it's usually always in the same place. It's back where where I grew up, the house I grew up in, the apartment. And when I'm going through the wall to go outside, there's certain parts of the wall where the, what's that called? The mortar, where the mortar meets the brick. I couldn't really go through those areas. I had to specifically go through a certain the bricks only. It was weird. Or the window, but I can't. The mortar wouldn't let the astral body come out.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, that was a strange experience.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I pushed through my bedroom wall one time where I went up to my wall, and I'd normally been able to just pop right through stuff. And I hit the wall, and it was like I was in some kind of a gel, or like a balloon when you're pushing your fingers into a balloon, how it stretches out. That's how the wall did to me, and I finally popped out. Well, that was bizarre.
Yeah, that only happens to me with windows. I have to push it through. What were you going to say, Renato?
Well, my friend, I think that, the range of experience is, unlimited, as is our consciousness. And some people find it scary. Others don't pay attention to that experiences. Others are familiar with it. And others, have the patience and the discipline to master it. So, as it is our consciousness, it is our experiences. And, possibly that happened. I cannot deny that you experienced that. I'm not in your shoes. I'm not in Tom's shoes. But I respect and believe that. Who am I to tell you, no, these experiences are not or these are real. In this higher reality or higher dimensions, where our consciousness interpret, our consciousness is like kaleidoscope that can see things and experience. I mean, we are in a new territory. We are in a new scenario with different laws, different physics that when we came back, and that's what I call the day after effect. When you came back, you're trying to find the right words. You're trying to find, the way to explain it. But when it belongs to another reality, to be redundant, it's difficult when you come back to this one to try to explain, unless you have experience. And when you have experiencing it, and you listen to, in your case, Tom or Ramon, I can tell there's something familiar to me. I can tell there's something that is real, not tangible, but real in the meaning of the different reality. And this is one of the things that people are experiencing now and then. We could have not talked about this in the 60s or in the 70s, unless we were in a private meeting or whatever seminar or conference in I don't know what place. But it was not so popular it is right now. So you listeners who are going to listen to this interview later on can tell also their experiences, can share with you guys, their point of view, and somehow in this exchange of experiences and sharing these thoughts and insights and opinions, we all are learning, and this is one of the things that we have to be also aware of. It's very interesting in my case, let's say, to have a UFO sighting, to go there and this and that. But if I don't know how to digest it, I don't know how to interpret or make an effort after the experience, therefore I can lose that opportunity. And there's also something valuable in each experience, especially when a spiritual experience, because it helps us to grow or to understand reality, my friends.
That's what the whole basis of doing shows like this, and we're not the only ones. There's so many out there that are doing shows along this line, where it's people sharing their experiences, and other people, the people who listen to them, are they associate with it and resonate with it, and it brings the state of our collective consciousness to a higher level. As more and more of this gets out there, more and more people hear it, and our collective consciousness continues to raise, and then eventually I see us hitting that critical mass and having that 100th monkey effect type of scenario happen here in some form.
Exactly, I agree with you. That's the repercussions that like we throw a stone on a quiet pond, and all the waves start to increase, and it gets into the shore. It really start to affect in a good way all the people's minds. And if the job that you're doing every day, every time you interview someone from different perspective, all of them, like colors on a rainbow, can help to understand many people about, our essence as human beings, our essence, that we are more than a physical body, that we have consciousness, that we have a spirit, and that we have, a higher mind, a cosmic mind. And that's the way we can understand this, and we can become more acquaintance. And then we realize that we are a big family somehow. Even though I don't see you, Tom, or I don't see you, Ramon, I know you are there. I know you are having your own moments as any human being, but I know that you are also doing this job. You're doing something, you're pouring your heart. When you pour your heart like you are doing, then it can rewards, which is cause and effect. And then you have more audience because people are following your interviews, are following your programs, and they feel connected. So, it's a parallel of internet connection, but it's also mind connection, what is happening right now. And that's very interesting, really.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely amazing to watch. Yeah, so
You know, it's, how can I express this? You know how they say that really there's only one consciousness, and really there's only one person having this conversation or this experience, or one consciousness. Uh, I don't know how you feel about that, Renato, but it it almost seems like it's what's the word? Multi, like someone who has what's that called? Multiple something.
schizophrenia,
Not really schizophrenia, but
multiple personality
it,
disorder or whatever.
yeah. So it's like if there is only one consciousness and there's only one experience happening in this entire universe, it's that's like the height of it. But how do you do you buy into that philosophy?
Some thinkers mention that there is a big mind or a cosmic consciousness, and there are levels of consciousness, and there are stages of consciousness. A thinker named Ken Wilber is the one who talked about this, and I think this is the best way to somehow slice this reality like an apple of the layers of consciousness that we have. If there is a big mind, a big consciousness, it might create, be the source of energy, let's say, the unifying source of energy in the cosmos, and had to be of such depth and magnitude and overwhelming presence that is in every level of consciousness and realities in the cosmos, including our planet, including ourselves, including no matter what who we are. At the same time, when we expand our consciousness, we're getting into a new territory, we're getting into a new paradigm, and therefore we have new adventures or new things to deal with. That could have never happened before with our, let's say, previous consciousness, even though our previous consciousness helped us to reach this new level. Because on every level of consciousness is something good, because we have learned from that, we have experienced it. But when we have these breakthroughs, when we go to from the ethnocentrical consciousness, so ethnocentrical consciousness is the one that says, only my race, my society, my people, my flag, my money, whatever is the best. The rest, no, they are not. And I am I like to be exclusive. I don't want to include people. But since we are living all these changes right now in the planet, and we have to face it. We're seeing, dramatic weather changes. We're seeing, a huge recession crisis. Since we are interconnected, so the word divorce on this interconnected financial network cannot be accepted, or you are or you are not. The same way with the internet, or you have a computer you don't have, but you cannot get into the internet, The same way, we have to understand that we have to be inclusive. And to be inclusive in an ethnocentrical worldview, is very difficult, because it triggers you to understand that we're living, or we're going towards an ecoplanetary worldview, where we have to live in balance with Mother Nature. Because from the most fragile, and most perfect systems that keep us alive is the environment, is the atmosphere. And if the atmosphere or the biosphere gets polluted with more radiation, or hydrocarbon emissions or other kind of polluters, we're going to be affected, all of us, even the animals. So in order to go to beyond the solar system, we need a shift of consciousness because we need a different kind of energy. Unless we suck all the oil of the world and we send a super rocket beyond the solar system, the problem is to beyond the problem is to come back, Ramon. So, and when you come back, you're gonna find the planet in the same way or worse. You need to come back to your home when everything is organized, working for you, because we need a self-sustainable planet. So we're going into this tremendous, amazing opportunity, crisis opportunity now that we have to be aware of. So, this mind, or cosmic mind, a great architect of God, this unifying source of energy and life is, part of this. At the same time, we have, free will. I mean, God's will is free will. So we have to choose what we want, what kind of future we like to, what kind of future we're going to leave to the millennium babies. For all these new generations, they are already here, and they deserve a better future. So, I mean, it's a tectonic shift, So in that way, the matter of consciousness, the more consciousness you are, the more aware you are, it hurts you the less. At the same time, the more consciousness or aware you are, the more responsible you have to be. There's no other way.
Exactly. Well, that comes naturally. The more conscious you become, the more responsible you become naturally.
Correct. Yes.
Because when you start understanding that there is a unity here, there is a connection, a fundamental, on the very fundamental level, we are so interlaced and connected with our whole experience here that when you do start becoming aware of it, you just naturally become much more responsible with the things that you're doing, because you realize that that's everything that around you is part of you. You're part of the fabric of life, and
yes.
It's a natural progression when the consciousness begins to open up to those questions: who am I? What am I?
Yeah,
exactly. That's the initiation part.
we also have to notice that turning the blind eye is a regression in itself. It's a de-evolution. It's just as the same as doing whatever that would devolutionize yourself. So, some people would say, okay, let's sit here and meditate, and the meditation in itself helps a lot. But when you turn a blind eye to what's going on around you, you regress back.
Yeah, you are in denial. You are in denial, and the thing is that many things right now are on the way. Like we are driving on we're driving on the highway. We have all these signs that distract us. That's what I say. We're missing the big picture. Where do you want to go? You can have everything right now you want, but it's distracting you at the same time. You have to be very careful what to choose, not to waste your time. We are in times that we cannot waste time.
It's going so damn fast too.
Bang, it's going fast. You just said things that, Renato, you said this on our interview that was last year. What? Last year? It seemed like it was yesterday to me.
Yeah.
But we are here right now. We're we're almost in October, and soon it's going to be December, and it's going to be 2012. So you're going to wait for doomsday, or you're going to wait for a new birth or something else big and better and promising. What is your choice? What is your prerogative? What are you looking for? What do you want to create? You want to create doomsday. There you go. You will have your doomsday. Don't regrets, man. You want to create something good. It's gonna cost you, but you're not gonna be alone. That's the beauty of it. And we have to be pioneers. We have to be adventurers. I mean, we can make it. This is not gonna end of the world. I mean, the end of the world, perhaps it's the end of the system. But it's the end of the world. I don't think so, my friend.
Yeah.
It's getting fun. It's getting fun, man.
No, I laugh because some people ask me like, "Oh, what's gonna happen to people who are like in fear would ask me, what's gonna happen to us 2012?" And I said the human race are gonna turn into a bunch of assholes. And I say, "Oh wait, too late." So it's like basically, and then I'll go into the explanation, and if that's what you want to create, that's what you're gonna become, and so this whole, you get to wonder why they, in pictures, they put the same scenario over and over. It's like, okay, create this, create this, create this, and they keep reminding you over and over again.
True.
Yeah.
It keeps reminding you, that the possibility of the 100th monkey, happen is possible now than ever. It could not be possible in the 40s. It could not be possible in the 50s or in the 60s. Now it's possible. It's possible to happen because the circumstances are allowing us for this to happen. Now, are we going to jump on it, or we're going to stay on the shore and let it go?
Now, I will have to say that this is all the 100th monkey effect. That consciousness has always been possible, and we've had the powers that want to be have been directing the mass consciousness of the planet. I mean, ever since the radio came out, in a big way, they've been using that media. And more so with television now, they're using the media to try to direct the consciousness of the planet in certain directions. Now, what we do have the opportunity, like you said, we do have the opportunity right now, and it's via the internet mainly. There's some stuff that's coming out over the TV shows and video format that is helping with raise this consciousness. But the majority of what's happening is happening on the internet. The raise of the consciousness, people seeking answers to their questions, and they don't find them in the major media.
Exactly, I agree with you. I mean, this is just what's happened recently in Wall Street. There are many protesters, and Saturday it was like 1,500, 2,000 people protesting on Wall Street. Something unthinkable. The unthinkable is happening, and you want to find it, you find it in the internet, because sometimes you don't find it in the media. The media is tied up with big corporations, or they don't. It's not a business for them to show that, or it's not convenient for them to show up. That they minimize, or they ridicule it, or they just pass it at 3 a.m. in the morning. Nobody want to watch it. So
some guys like me who are up.
I mean, you're in Japan. It's gonna be for you to watch it. What's going on here in America, man? But it's what Tom said is true. It seems like the internet is a reflection of the consciousness of the planet. Everybody's saying something, giving an opinion of something, and they put it on the internet. It's our thoughts being on the virtual reality. Yeah,
some people believe that the internet has become like, what's the right word so it's not misunderstood, like the let's say like each computer has become like the cell of the earth. Not saying that it didn't have a conscious before, but now the internet has become something that the earth itself can express more easily, especially for those who are not connected. Like, for example, things like the web bot and what's the other one? That whenever something's about to happen, there's like a rise in consciousness that's picked up through the internet connections.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. One of the biggest, everybody says, from the Argentina to Zaire, from A to Z in all countries, the best invention is the internet. The best invention lately is the internet, because you can get in touch, we can communicate, we can send videos and everything. We know that, and who knows what's going to happen in the next 5 years? So this is amazing, really.
Yeah. Tom?
Yeah, we're definitely getting out there. Well, let's see. I don't know where I want to go now. Hey, the whole consciousness talk just really gets my mind going. I mean, it is I see it as the fundamental key for straightening this planet out, having that unity consciousness, everybody being aware that we are connected and that we are all basically one. I think that would be so key to changing things on this planet. I mean, can you imagine if everybody on this planet understood that we are all connected on that fundamental level? What that would do for these people that have no empathy of any kind, and they don't really care if they push that button while they're at their video console that fires that Tomahawk missile off of that drone that they're flying 3,000 miles away. The guys don't really care. The empathy's not there. But if you have that unity of consciousness, if you understand that those people are connected to you at a fundamental level, and that what you're doing to them, you're doing to yourself. Wow, there's a big change there. There's a huge change there. I mean,
yes,
I think
true.
we could get rid of war, the killing of other people overnight.
And at the same time, we're determined to this, and have to be a group of people who can do that, and fully aware of this. The best tool is the internet. Who knows, something in the future, there will be a global meditation, a global virtual meeting, a global encounter to project our thoughts to something that we all want to do. We all agree. That is peace.
Well,
There is harmony, and they will change things, from now on. Why not to think in that way? Why not to think is that possible?
Yeah. Speaking of, I think really that 11/11, it's gonna be that day because there's so many things. You're doing that big thing, and there's so many things going on. And as you said before, from Argentina to Zaire, A to Z, in every country that. So many little groups are getting together. It might be 8 people here, 50 people here, but I really feel that November 11 is going to be something. There's going to be. I think that's when we hit that 100th monkey.
I think that has the definite potential for changing, having a huge effect on the consciousness of the planet. When you get that many people throughout the world actually meditating. It's just the power of that just blows my mind. It just staggers me. I mean, you look back at that experiment they did in, where was it, Ramon? Washington, D.C. or something like that, where they had these people, a group of like 100 people or something like that.
In the 1970s, was it?
Yeah, they meditated on lowering the crime rate in Washington, D.C., and it dropped by something like 70%. It was just ridiculous amount that it dropped, and it showed a strong correlation between the conscious intent of just a small handful of people in relation to the population of the city. Just a small handful of people had that huge effect. They just thinking about the whole world doing that. I mean, you get let's say we get 500 million people. That's a small amount for what we have on the planet. So there's 500 million people on the planet that actually sit down on 11/11 and meditate. Wow, there will be change.
This is a big opportunity we cannot lose.
Yeah, or even pray. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, this is the biggest opportunity because it's not about quantity, as Tom said. It's about quality. People. I mean, quality of people. What do you mean? People who are aware. People who think. I remember I read that also that project about how the meditation affect delinquency in Washington D.C. Well, the more you use that, the more we are aware of that. We don't need the necessary evil sometimes, like police and armies and all the kind of security forces, to protect us in our societies. So I think that 11/11 is a trigger point that could help to balance, exactly a year before 2012. It's going to be a tremendous opportunity, a new window that we can jump into with the best of our intentions for the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was who was it? Lynn McTaggart. She was doing that thing where they were a meditation where they were concentrating on what's that country off the coast of India? Sri Lanka. And then the rebel forces, the fighting had like stopped and everything like slowed down for a while they were doing that meditation. I almost feel like it's been proven so many times that this time it's going to be hard to say
that it doesn't have an effect. Yeah.
Exactly.
It will definitely be hard to deny. Well, I mean, when we see the effects of it in the world around us, when everybody can see the effects of it in the world around us, it'll definitely give a lot of people food for thought.
Yes. Because I think that, let's keep working on this, because, the more we work, the more we engage, I think the more we can see the results.
Yep, so everybody out there, do something on 11/11. Join one of these meditations that are online, or where Ramon and I are going to be doing the Fire the Grid. Let's see, there are just so many different things going on right now. Find something that you resonate with and do something, whether it's just sitting in your backyard and finding a moment to close your eyes and think about the world, something.
Yeah. If you can get like 2 or 3 friends together as well and just sit down to meditate that day, or even 5 minutes.
Yep. It doesn't take that much.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't take that much. It really, if you go with a group of friends, more than 3.
Yep.
More than 3, and stay together and light a candle or do your own ritual and open your mind and your hearts and wish you the best for yourself, your loved ones, and for the world. Things start to magically work around.
Yep. So, well, we're zeroing in on the end of the hour, Renato. Let give you a chance to go over what's going on with you again here in the near future and your website and stuff.
Well, yeah, thank you. First of all, guys, Tom, Ramon, thank you again for the opportunity to go through all your listeners worldwide. It's an honor to be in contact with you, and I really appreciate the work you're doing. Keep doing it. Keep putting all your energy into this, and I wish all the people that lives in LA or in nearby LA can go to this event on 11/11. You can find more information on the dreamshield.org. That's dreamshield.org. We're going to be on Rancho de las Palmas in Moore Park, California on November 11th from 10 a.m. till 11:30 p.m. It's going to be a group of guest speakers. I'm one of them. Workshops, music, and all this stuff. So my website is www.renatolongato.com. And you also can find me on Facebook. Yeah. Renato Longato. That's it.
Great. Well, thank you very much for coming and joining us tonight. It was an excellent
Thank you for last minute. Yeah, it was Renato came to save the day at last minute, so thank you so much.
Hey man, don't get used to, huh? But anyway, it's a good time to share with you guys, and anytime, just ring me a bell and I'm gonna be here with you guys. So, Tom, Ramon, God bless you guys, and let's keep in touch.
Fantastic.
Definitely. And
well, thanks everybody for listening. Join us next week. I know we'll have somebody good on. Condemnation without investigation is the height of ignorance. Ramon, anything?
I was going to say thank you, everybody out there who listens to the show, especially those who listen every week. We really appreciate the support, and me and Tom hope to keep bringing you great stuff out there. And if anybody you want to recommend as a guest that we can get or that you're connected to, just drop us an email.
All right.
I guess that'll be it.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Night, night.